When, as we all aware, when we compile Java program, an output is not an exe file. You know that, right? It's convert the .class file, and .class file consists of Java bytecode, which are understood by JVM. Okay, Java Virtual Machine interprets the bytecode into machine code depending upon underlying operating system. Depending upon underlying operating system, this is important. And Harvard combination. JVM is platform dependent, which makes Java programming language as platform independent. Okay. Second concept is JRE, Java Runtime Environment. Java Runtime Environment contains JVM and class libraries, other supporting files. Okay. So JRE is equals to JVM plus Java packages like utilities, math, lang, AWT, swing, and all those, and runtime libraries like jar files. Some of the jar files are also provided as a Java package classes. Okay. So JRE is basically a combination of your runtime, your virtual machine, and your required packages to understand incoming program or running program. Okay, it's not giving you any opportunity to create new programs, but it will give you enough tools to run that program on your machine. Okay, so of course JVM is important, but these things are also important so that Java programs should run properly on your machine. So that is JRE. And last one is Java Development Kit. Java Development Kit contains tools needed to develop Java programs, and JRE to run the program. So basically it's the biggest container. Okay, so JDK has everything. So JDK has the tools needed for development and JRE. Okay, so JDK is the biggest box. Tools include compiler, Java application launcher, that is Java EXE, applet viewer, policy tools, and a number of things which are required for only developer. Okay, so you need JDK if at all you are write your own programs. Okay, and for compiling you don't need JDK for compiling them. For running Java programs, JRE is sufficient. Okay, and this is what I told you, like if you install JRE, and then your browser based programs and all the programs will run properly. But if you really want to develop something on your machine, then basically you need JDK. Okay, and this is an architecture of Java program. If you can see, the bigger box is JDK, and it contains Java, Java CMS compiler, Java documentation, APT, Java archives. So all these things are part of JDK. So Java language and development tools are the part of JDK. JDK also contains JRE, and JRE contains, see here, JRE contains deployment to development technologies, user interface toolkit, then some of the helping libraries, language and utility based libraries, and Java virtual machine. So Java virtual machine lies here. Okay, so these are Java one. Finally, you have platform. So platform means operating system. So basically Solaris, Windows, Linux, and some other platforms also. So you have immediately interacting is Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine is a part of JRE. Trying for Java development kit. So if you are trying to develop a Java program, you need Java development kit, which contains all this anyway. Okay. Okay, so as we are proceeding, this is not a theory session. You need to get your hands dirty. What does that mean? It means that you are supposed to write the code. Okay, so we are not expecting you to just see the code or something. We are expecting you to actually write the code. The first step is download JDK based on your operating system, and second step is we need to write the code somewhere, and that somewhere is Eclipse. Okay, so you need to download Java, you need to download Eclipse. Select appropriate operating system version while downloaded. So we have separate slides for Eclipse download. You can go there and check how to download Eclipse. We also have a video created for Eclipse download. You can also go and watch the video to get it downloaded if you have any difficulties while going through the slides. Eclipse download may take some time. Eclipse is huge, it's around 400 MB, so you have to take some time there, and it all totally depends on your internet speed. If you need any help in task above, you can see respective slides and videos. Okay. Okay. So this is all about like how to create and run and what are the basics. Now let's understand and touch some concepts of object orientation. So very first thing you need to understand while learning Java is object. So what is mean by a real object or any software object? So a software bundle which has state and behavior. State means properties. Okay, state means properties. And bicycle has pedals, gears, handles, and behaviors means functionality, like things which bicycle can do. So you can ride a bicycle, you can pedal, you can change gears. So all those things you can do on the bicycle, right? So there are two things we saw. There are properties basically which are the parts or different parts of that bicycle. So pedals, gears, handles, we call them properties. Okay, and there is functionalities which like functions that particular property can do. Means if you have pedals, then pedals pedal. Okay, pedaling, riding on the road, changing the gears, and all those things are real functionalities how that object or cycle works. Software objects are conceptually very similar. Okay, so software objects also has some properties. Okay, we call them states, and they do have some properties, variables, we call them variables, and some methods or functionalities. So we call them methods in a Java programming language. So methods are required, these are implemented functionalities to do something with those properties. Okay, so the entire object consists of your variables and methods. Okay, just like our real objects consist of properties and functionalities. Okay, then what is class? The class is basically a blueprint or a prototype from which object is created. So what is an example? So example is, consider if I have to create a cube. I will not create it myself. I will give a design to an architecture team, and they will create a cube for me. So how will I actually give them a design? I'm not a painter, or I'm not a sketcher, so I will just write it down. So if I'm writing it, then I will say like front is equal to square. So I want front as a square. I want the top view as a square. Okay. Of course, if I don't know what is cube in English language, if I have to explain what is cube in English language, this is what I'm doing. And side is also square. Okay, but is this sufficient? No, I have to give some specifications like what is the length of each side. So I will give length equals to 2 centimeter. And of course, if I give length, then that is more than sufficient. But let's give some more stuff. Width is and height, HEIGST, height is 2 centimeter. So this is an explanation of this is an actual implementation, blueprint of your cube object. So this is how our cube object will be created. So whenever I'm creating an instance of a cube object, new cube will be created, right? So this is what we called as a class. Class is a blueprint. If you want to write down how that object should be created, then that written material is actually a class. Okay, so class is a blueprint of an object. What is inheritance? Different kind of objects often have certain amount of common behavior with each other. Object-oriented programming allows classes inherit from other classes. In Java programming language, each class is allowed to have one direct superclass. Each superclass has potential for unlimited number of subclasses. So inheritance means, if you are like, now let's understand, previously we used to have telephone. Okay, so what are the functionalities of telephone? It was able to call A to B. If you know the numbers, then basically that calling facility was available. But does messaging facility was available? No, it wasn't. Does it have internet? No, it doesn't have. So whatever it has only one thing, calling functionality. You can call from A to B. Later we upgraded the telephone to cell phones. Okay, and now all of a sudden you have okay, you already inherited the property of calling. So you have calling from, so we call that as a phone anyway. Okay, so cell phones are calling A to B. Yes, that is possible. Plus we can do SMS or text. Texting is also allowed. And third one is smartphone. Third one is smartphone. So what are the smartphone functionalities? You can call A to B. Of course you can text. And the final thing you can do is it has an internet. So you have WhatsApp, you have Facebook, and all details available. What are the apps? Different apps. You can now do shopping on your smartphone, and you can do multiple things. But does it changed previously implemented functionalities? No. Does this guy change previously implemented functionality? No. So the basic functionality of a phone, that is calling A to B, is always there. So this particular hierarchical structure is called as inheritance. So telephone is a parent. Okay. After that, child is a sinful. So that child inherited the property of calling, and it has its own functionality of texting. Okay, smartphone inherited. Okay, smartphone is a child of cell phone. So smartphone inherited properties of cell phone, like calling A to B and texting, but it has its own property of internet. It has WhatsApp, it